So you're not continuing then?
No, that's why I'm here.
I thought you were going to come and still play the part like as if you were moving on.
Well, so that's the thing. I thought about it.
Or you could be playing the part right now.
I could be. No, I told my coach I'm done. I'm going to come back. I'm going to go coach.
Okay. Coach Mascot or coach?
Coach Mascot. I can't coach cheer.
It'd be dope. It'd be a cool gig.
I can't stunt for shit. I want to learn, though, just for fun.
Alrighty. Welcome back to the You Never Know podcast. Before we kind of jump into our topic this week, it's Ross's farewell episode.
It is.
How you feeling about that? What's going on? Where are you going?
Feeling pretty weird. Going back to the Bay to start working, big boy job. Just doing some civil engineering, just designing back in the Bay for a small little company, architecture firm. But yeah, pretty excited to start, I guess. Got a little bit of time off in between. And yeah, I mean, I guess it feels weird to have the last episode, though.
End of an era.
I know.
Off to the races of the big kid world, right?
Yeah. I'm like a little excited, also just kind of scared and don't want to just work the rest of my life away now, you know.
Thanks for joining us for the first, what are we?
The final salute.
18, 19 episodes deep? Something like that? You got through 20?
Yeah.
Do you have anyone you wish that replaces you? Are you giving your job to anyone?
I don't know. Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah, why not? Name them right here on the spot.
Name
I
drop.
don't even know.
If you say Garrett, I swear to God.
No, I don't think Garrett would do it.
Who's always great at making, like, BS conversations entertaining?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. I have no
I'd
idea.
say Zeke, but he
That's
would
what
get us
I'd say.
canceled. So
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
exactly
Can't
what I was
have that.
thinking. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about that, though.
Let us know.
I will.
I want you to introduce the guest today.
Yeah, of course. Our guest today, formerly Buster Bronco. End of an era for him. Chandler
Yes.
Thornton, how we doing?
This is gonna be eventful. I don't think I've been given a public platform to talk about it, minus like my Instagram for the last 2 weeks. So this is gonna be fun. Rylan came up to me, and he's like, "Dude, this we have to talk about." And I was like, "Well, shit, we gotta be careful. Like, I'm still on the team. It's still a secret." But then once I graduated, I was like, "All right, all in." So I'm excited. This is gonna be fun, a lot of fun. I'm gonna talk about kind of the ins and outs of what I did. And
I was going to say, the initial plan was to have him on with a blurred face and a different
distorted
voice.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
while
was
you're
the plan.
That would have been cool.
That was
That'd
while
have
you
been
were still
fun.
in school.
Yeah, that was while I was still in school,
Okay.
and I think it just
Mountain West Championship happened, first of all.
yeah, go Broncos.
So
Cool.
But yeah, I got super busy, and it just logically, like, there was just one too many things that I was worried about getting in trouble, and I didn't want to end on a bad foot with the program. So I was like,
That
well,
makes sense, yeah.
so after I graduate,
Do you think they'll be upset that you're doing it now?
absolutely not.
Okay.
I'll choose my words wisely, for the most part.
Alright.
I'll be honest though, there are things that I think, things that went really well, and things that I think can go better always. But that's a part of anything. Anything can always get better.
well, and you've already
Of course,
announced
yeah.
publicly that
Right?
You
That's
were
my
the
last
horse,
3 frickin' Instagram posts. So if you follow me, you already know.
shout him out. What's your Instagram?
First name, last name, Chandler _Thornton. Go follow me.
It is.
Sometimes I follow you back.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
If you're
worried.
interesting,
If you're
I'll be
worthy.
honest. But
Yeah, well, we'll try to get a lot of information out of you today. Either way.
you'll get it all.
Yeah.
Blonde hair, blue eyes ladies, I'll usually follow back though.
Kind of have
Where's
to.
the camera?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's jump right into it. So kind of, what is the process like to become the mascot? Like, what did you do in high school to kind of earn that position, or like, is that even a thing? You just sign up? Like, what's the whole deal like?
Yeah, so my experience was pretty unique compared to some others. So Buster Bronco at the university is a tryout position. They do some recruiting, but not a whole lot, because you really don't find people who like wake up one morning, they're like, oh my God, I need to be a mascot. Let me put on a costume. A lot of the audience and a lot of our team that was found through social media awareness, just saying, hey, we're looking for people who want to be a part of this, people who think it's interesting and want to try it out. And obviously there's standards that we all wish we have. We all know Cosmo the Cougar and, Benny the Bull for the Chicago Bulls, like,
Yeah.
certain nobles of the sport I'll use.
The duck.
Yeah, exactly. The Oregon Duck, like you see these certain mascots in these images and you're like, those are like, that is the university.
Right.
Like that's what you associate when you see them. Buster never had that. And so the Buster standards to become upon the team are not as high as like what you might see with some of these other prestigious schools. And that's simply just because of the type of university we are. We're still a small school, respectively, and we still have a lot of work to do, and there's still only so much funding in the program. But so my experience was, so in high school, I never, mascot was not a thing. I grew up in Louisville, Colorado, just outside of Boulder, and at my school, the cheer and dance team and the mascot were a joke, like awful. I grew up, my school mascot was a coyote, and I shit you not, his teeth were like this fucking long, and they were like foam, and they flapped around. It was disgusting. Like they showed up at pep assemblies, and like you looked forward to it because it was entertainment.
Right.
Yeah, we had that too. We had like we were the wolves, and like we had 2 mascots, and they were just random kids every time, but they looked like rats.
Yeah,
Like,
it was foul, and so I was just like that's jokes, like never, like that's hilarious. But my high school did not support, like, if you weren't a part of a certain group and you were at an athletic game, like, it wasn't very fun.
Right.
So when I got to college, I got recruited to the student section, and I served my first year in college as the social media and media chair and, like, vice president, sort of.
For the corral?
Yes, for the corral. And that was cool, but, like a lot of other programs at the university, underfunded, undertaken care of, and, like, just really didn't get the attention it deserved. And one of the busters at the time, who's since revealed himself, whatever, Alex Lacados, who was a part of the student section, reached out to me. He's like, yo, bro, you got a lot of energy. I got a weird proposition for you. And I was like, yeah, okay, what's up? He's like, have you ever thought about Buster Bronco? And I was like, yeah, what about him? He's like, you want to be it? I was like, what? Like what does that mean? And I got basically recruited that way. And I showed up to tryouts. I actually slept through the 3rd day of tryouts.
Yikes.
You're just that good.
No. They just needed me that bad. So Buster isn't very prominent on campus. It's a lot of people who usually try it for fun, and people who end up falling in love with the job and the opportunity and truthfully help develop the character. That's really what brings people to Buster. And so that's why when you meet Buster, it's everybody's best friend.
What did the tryout look like? How do you try out for a mascot?
It was like endurance.
At our university?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or any, I mean.
So it's probably much more rigorous at other universities. But again, because Buster is not.
Is it like an NFL combine or like?
I wish, but I wouldn't be on the team, bro. I'm out of shape. The Buster tryout when I joined the team was a mile time. You had to do a push-up test, and you had to display that you had some form of like acting ability. So you did a skit with music, and then you could display that you could either like dance or you could interact with people. So like when you see Buster at games doing his thing, you had to display that you had some form of base level of skills, or that you were at least comfortable enough getting uncomfortable trying it.
Yeah.
So that way at least we knew we had something to work with. So that was my tryout experience. I slept through the 3rd day, which was the actual skit part. Mind you, I could not dance. I still cannot dance. But I've learned that I don't care anymore because ultimately 95% of the people in the student section and who are fans either aren't paying attention or drinking or can't dance themselves and are too afraid to dance in front of a stadium. So
very true.
Yeah, so that was my experience. That was my tryout experience. We just held tryouts actually like a week and a half ago. So while there's talent coming in, and I'm not going to reveal who it is.
Yeah.
Do you get to you get to say though in a little bit of the next gen?
I got to be a part, and I get to be a part of kind of helping coach and help bring in the next group of people, which is awesome because I love it. But yeah, so that's a tryout experience. It's usually like right after the school year ends. We usually put a couple of posts about it, looking for people, but we don't try to promote it too heavily. But some people, some people's journeys are like they're mascots in high school, things like that, and they want to pursue it in college wherever they end up going.
Yeah. So were you not Buster until your sophomore year then?
Correct. So freshman year I was not. It was my sophomore year when I started. It was like end of my freshman year, like finals week was when I had my tryouts.
Yeah.
That was the first time I had put it on.
Is that normal, or is it more normal or like more regular to have somebody come in as a freshman as Buster?
I'd say it's actually more common to have people come in late.
Okay.
Okay. I thought it'd be early just because they don't want them only for like a year or so.
And that's kind of what we thought too. Now, granted, I had the whole COVID experience, so our kind of situation was unique. When we had COVID happen, we had nobody try out for Buster.
Damn.
We had one, something like that. It was very little. So when COVID happened, Buster got stored away in a closet. People did not want Buster around because the whole touching thing and the university had its rules.
Wasn't that a little weird though? Like, because if you were like kind of like the face or like one of the main student section guys, and then the next year you're just kind of gone.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that kind of obvious?
Horrible. It was awful.
Like,
but yeah, no, that's what gave my thing away. Yeah, I
would say, I mean, I saw a picture of you in the student section from freshman year, and you were a completely different guy.
Yes.
You were like a tiny, scrawny little kid.
Well, maybe Rylan can get creative and pull up this Instagram post from when I was
I'll put
a
it
freshman.
up.
I'll show you boys here real quick. But when I came to college, I was, like 105 pounds in wet clothes. I was a small kid, but I just had energy, and that's what they were looking for. They wanted people who were energetic and stoked. So that's freshman me right there.
With the corral.
Yeah, so this was with the corral. But, like, I'm holding the hammer. I'm loud. I'm fucking obnoxious. Yeah. And that's what they were like, yo, this kid's kind of wild. I was, like, covered in paint at every game. I wrote bleed blue on my fucking arms and, like, had face masks and shit.
Yeah, you got the energy they're looking for.
Yeah.
Was your voice as deep then?
It's been
because your voice now doesn't match that picture.
It's been deep all my life. I'm great on phone calls. The second they see me in person and I'm under 6 feet tall, they walk away.
Yeah, I was curious, dude.
Okay,
Do they look for somebody with a certain height? Is there like one buster who was 5'5" and then one who was like
They,
6'4"?
you do sometimes, and that's kind of where, again, we're looking for people who have certain character traits. I think in time as the program develops, there'll be certain athletic and physical requirements that are more strict because you're trying to build that secret a little bit better. But because we're looking for people who can add to it and build on it, and we really haven't established a set presence in the program, it's still kind of flexible.
Okay.
You probably can't like have someone's like 5'5" doing it, right?
You can.
Oh, really?
I think we had one girl who was actually like 5'6", 5'7".
Okay.
So there are girls who do it too.
I was gonna say you had a counterpart that was a girl that graduated, right?
Did Sierra Sanderson. Love
Shout
that.
out.
Yeah, love her. Basically like my partner in crime. We were siblings throughout it all. And so
Were you guys? Is there more than one costume? Like, were you able to like maybe you were a buster at the bookstore and she was a buster at a basketball game?
So there was never more than one buster at a time. And as far as I'm publicly sharing, there's only one buster.
Got it.
So you're the one and only for the last 3 years?
Well, there's others who have been involved, but in terms of how many costumes, there's only one costume. So you can't have multiple busters around.
Yeah.
So that's why when Buster travels,
So you share the same head.
we do.
Damn.
Does that
Interesting.
thing ever like smell or
Yes.
anything? Like,
Yes.
how do you wash that thing?
Dale, shout out Dale, the equipment manager for football, takes care of us, cleans it.
That'd be
takes
so
care of
weird
it.
washing a head.
Well, so the head we kind of self clean. It's like I can't give all the secrets about it because there's still certain things I have to keep confidential.
That's fine.
But yeah, we would clean it, make sure it
Yeah.
doesn't smell,
Is
and
it comfortable?
think of it like a sports helmet,
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
plus 10 pounds.
Like if like someone were to do like a handspring or something like that, like kind of a cartwheel, like is that how
It's
it stays
secured.
on? It's pretty secure on your
You're
head.
not losing it.
Okay.
It's not one of those where you like have the straps around your shoulders, right?
No.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say anymore before I get in trouble.
But so
but the costume is well designed so that way you can still be athletic and capable.
yeah.
And that's kind of what I try to tell people too is like, it's what you make of it. It's a lot to wear.
Where do you see out of the mouth?
You see out of the eyes.
Actually, no way.
Yeah,
I call bullshit.
I don't know.
that's fine. We'll agree to disagree right now. Again, still certain rules I got to follow.
For sure.
I don't think the girl who was 5'6" wearing that thing.
Is it seen out of the eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, so like you probably saw different times Buster change height, change a little bit, mannerisms, things.
Yeah.
And that's where Buster is Buster.
I would say I didn't see it change that much though. Like I
Exactly.
feel like Buster had a pretty similar. Maybe one day he was a little more peppier than the other, but like
And that's with
you know,
caffeine.
you guys did a pretty good job as a team keeping that vibe and personality. Even though I don't know what percent of the time it was you or her, but
Yeah, and there's usually there's a team, and I can't use certain titles because I'll give everything away. But there's teams, there's titles, there's a group that puts together Buster. Buster's a part of the Spirit Squad,
Yeah.
which includes cheer, dance, and the mascot. And so there is a group that helps support Buster. There's a group that helps make Buster come to life. There's a group that helps market Buster. There's a whole team around it.
that's cool.
And really the big focus is on this make sure this image stays whole.
I'd say it sounds like you're trying to build it and keep it growing because you kind of started it from smaller, and I'd say it's pretty big now.
Yeah, it's definitely growing, and that's kind of why I thought about coming back, but I won't be. Was I thought that I had more to give, but yeah.
So you would be able to be Buster after you graduate?
I'd have to go back to school,
Oh, okay.
so you have to be a full-time student. So that's one of the requirements of Busters. You do have to be a full-time student.
So you go to grad school or something?
Well, that's one way to do it.
Oh, okay.
My plan was just to go back to school, take some elective credits, and
Okay.
it was to go back for that.
Yeah.
School is important, but if you know who I am, while I love the school and I love what I got from it, the education piece was not my main focus, which is fine. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
But like when you saw Buster at different events, I mean, like sporting events, different, scholarship events or donations or whatever it was, like it was still Buster.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we tell people is like,
Yeah.
What was your favorite aspect of or favorite event to attend? I think it's probably a softball question, but
it's my favorite thing was always sporting events, hands down. And at first I thought it was football. The run out when Buster runs out of the tunnel. I'm like,
have you ever
That's
thought about
gotta
eating
be
shit?
sick.
Like, oh, what if I just trip and just eat?
if you worry about it, it'll end up happening. That's the funny thing. Like when they tell people like don't trip at graduation, all this, like if you don't think about it, it won't happen. And like there were certain things where it's like if certain things happened, you knew how to play it off, you knew how to get through it, which was awesome.
Do they coach you to do that, or it's just like a mental?
You figure it out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
like if
happens
you
once.
slip out, you do something dumb, you're like, oh, how do I play it off? So I look like I did it on purpose, like it was
You
fun.
could just do some push-ups after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something out there.
So it's like people pay attention. People saw what we did. It's kind of the inner workings is what we kind of still try to keep quiet about.
So football then was your favorite.
Football was my favorite. And then when basketball did well, I loved basketball because being in an arena with all those fans, it's much more interactive. I was messing around with referees on the court. I was dancing on the score tables. I was running up railings in the student section. Like you think when you go to a sporting event, like your job is to go in, follow security, sit in your seat, and enjoy the game. Leave when the game is over. My job is, okay, what unwritten rules that are followed by normal ethics and practices can I break? I'm going to throw food. I'm going to crawl across people. I'm going to take people's boyfriends and girlfriends. I'm going to go break drums. Like, granted, you didn't try to break stuff on purpose, but if it happened, it was an accident.
And it was entertainment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're the sideshow. That's what I tell people. Is like, you go to see the game, but there's the sideshow. There's the little things on prompts on screen that entertain you. But yeah, my job was to kind of like go have fun and be that sociable.
That's
Get
pretty
everyone
sweet.
rowdy, yeah.
Be everyone's best friend.
Yeah.
It's kind
Yeah.
of the thing. So
What was your first event as Bronco or as Buster?
I think it was a recruiting event, or I think it was like a Bronco day,
Oh, okay.
in the spring or either. It was in the fall. It was it was like that Bronco week where they have all those events on campus.
Oh, like the first week of school.
It was one of those
Bronco welcome.
Yeah. I think it was one of those, and I was meeting all these students who were like just getting to school, getting in their dorms, and I was just like hanging out, meeting freshmen, doing my thing.
Were you nervous? Like your first?
My first event, I was nervous for about 10 seconds.
I'd
It's
say
like,
then
it's like that butterfly feeling with sports. Like
Yeah.
it's worrisome, and then the second that whistle blows,
It's just kind of game
it's
time.
goes out the window.
your brain's just there.
Yeah.
And no one knows it's you. Like you literally lived
Yeah,
a
it's
whole
even
other
better.
identity
Yeah, and
for
that's-
3 years.
yeah, that was the hardest part too. Because when I first came to school, I was pretty quiet, and then as I got into it more, became pretty outgoing. People
Yeah.
learned that about me, but yeah, it's a whole. I was a whole Miley Cyrus gig. You have
Right.
Hannah Montana, and Miley Cyrus.
That's a good way to put it.
It was awesome.
Was it nerve wracking walking out of the tunnel at the stadium for the first time?
I didn't do it my first time until my senior year.
Oh,
What?
really?
So my sophomore year, I didn't get the chance because of certain team rules. And then my junior year, we had COVID. So there was no fans. Nobody was on the field, which sucked. And then my senior year, I kind of stepped into a captain role, if you will. I wouldn't use the term captain, more of a leadership role. Took charge, made sure the team was on time, did things right, was in the places where they needed to be. And I did 2 runouts, just 2.
Damn.
It's gotta be hands down one of the things I regret most and why I'm upset I'm not going back.
What games were they? Do you remember?
Parent and family weekend, I think.
That's cool. One of the more
And-
fuller games.
Yeah, and then one of the first games of the season, I did the run out. I think it was the second game of the season. It's my senior year,
Yeah.
and
Pretty sweet.
it's phenomenal.
It sounds fun.
I'm 5'8". I'm a 5'8" athlete who got 0 athletic scholarship out of high school, and they were like, "Hey, you want to run out in front of a college stadium with fireworks and pyro
You're
on a
running
blue
first too,
field?
right?
Yeah, on the blue field. Like,
You're the first person out there too, right?
yeah, you
Yeah.
lead the football team.
You and the
Like,
horse.
Oh.
Yeah, you go before the horse. Like,
Oh.
you rally. You start the whole Boise State.
So you get
chant,
the whole
stadium.
the whole hype video
the
and
whole
then
hype video. The whole stadium is looking at you. Like,
And when you're the
maybe we think.
when you're the first one to walk
Probably
out,
for the first
you
few
get, like,
seconds, yeah.
you get the most reaction I think from the crowd because you're
Mhm.
the first person.
Yeah.
We all see run out.
You get the first burst of hype. There's more hype obviously when football runs out of the tunnel.
yeah. But you're the face of the franchise essentially.
Pretty much. You're the marketing piece.
Yeah.
That is pretty nuts to think about.
It's wild.
Like you could carry the school on your back.
to an extent. You You could definitely get in trouble
And
if you mess that up.
Yeah. But what does being the mascot for a pretty big university actually entail? Like, what was your day-to-day like?
Yeah, I mean, so with our team, it was practices you had throughout the week. You showed up. We did physical training, character training. You learned how to be
A horse?
Yeah, pretty much. How to be everyone's best friend, how to be Buster. And again, that's not something you really can teach. You either get it or you don't. And that's why Buster is so unique. And so my experience was like, you show up to practices, you train, you get after it. And then after that, going to the events. So Buster's on campus all the time. Buster's at all the athletic games, marketing promotions. So when you see stuff, you go to like a Walmart and you see Buster holding a Coca-Cola. Like we got photo shoots sometimes to do that stuff. So it's very time consuming. And that's what I tell people is like, it's time consuming, but it's worth it. Yeah. It's the one way to see every single working piece of the campus and the university without having any certain level of qualifications besides being that character. You don't got to be a PhD. You don't got to go to school for a certain amount of years. You don't got to have certain qualifications in business or whatever. Like, you can literally you don't got to be an athlete that's, like, crazy good at what you do. Like, you get to see every single aspect, and it's awesome.
Dang.
That's pretty sick. So you can't talk in it at all, right?
No.
Have you ever had any mishaps where you accidentally said something and, like, someone heard you?
You said something to me at a basketball game one time.
Damn it, Ryland.
I can cut that if you need.
No, leave it. You're not supposed to talk.
Yeah.
Can you even really hear? Like,
Oh, yeah.
people hear you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You can hear. There were times, obviously, there's a certain level of boundary and respect you have to the character. You don't go talking because it ruins the piece. But, like, if something's wrong or if something's going on or somebody's doing something wrong is usually the big thing. Like, if somebody, like, the big thing is pulling the tail. Don't pull Buster's tail.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you get heckled a lot, and, like, how do you deal with it?
Oh, my God. All my travel trips, Utah State, hands down, was the worst. Nope, San Diego State was the worst. San Diego State this last year when we were playing in L.A. was the worst. There is so much heckling. The fans are calling you names. They're calling you this, and you're a freaking Bronco. So they're calling you a donkey and a wild ass. And
Saying
can't
Boise's
say
not a
anything.
you
state.
can't respond. Boise's not a state. And I'm literally just sitting here. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, guess what? You're sitting in the stands, and you paid to be here.
Yeah.
Like, politely.
Did
mind
you
your
pretend
business.
to like not hear? Like, can you give like a little like like a hand just like just
An
like blow 'em
appropriate hand
off?
gesture?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's times where I would ignore people.
Or like play with them a little bit.
Yeah, there was times where I'd mock people. You play along with the role. You kind of like pretend you're going to charge at somebody, things like that. I mean, they're college students, and they're usually drunk.
Yeah. Did you ever have somebody, like, from another school, like, talking shit to you? You just point at the scoreboard if we're up?
Oh, all the time. All the time. When we were winning games in football, that was my favorite thing to do, was people, especially the other mascots. When they'd come to town, they'd be, like, talking crap and whatnot. It's just like,
They're,
cool.
Like they're trying to talk to you while you're on the field, just you two.
yeah, and you learn kind of, like, think of it like sign language. You learn that mannerism, those characteristics.
Yeah.
Speaking of that though, don't you know like the other mascots know each other, right? Because like when you go to other games, the
Sometimes
training
you
rooms,
do
right?
meet them, yeah. So you know who's in there, and sometimes we plan stuff out.
Is there, like, tension between mascots?
We don't care. After games, like after big games,
Right.
when you lose, you're like, all right, cool, like
Yeah.
It's like you were cool
pack it and
before,
leave,
and
like
Yeah.
get out. But it's like you have no hard feelings. Like you're not mad at each other. Like
Yeah.
it's all.
So
You're
you
all
guys are
doing the
both
same
running
thing.
around in costumes
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
we're all
You
just a
know?
bunch of clowns.
But entertainment.
Oh, it's so much fun. And I've met some of my friends when I was on the podcast with Ryan Seekert. We were talking about me doing that a little bit.
We called the
We called the
Air Force
bird.
mascot.
Yeah. We called
really?
the bird the Air Force bird, and he was like, "What the hell are you doing?" But yeah, you meet a lot of cool people, and yeah, it's a cool experience.
Yeah.
You see everything.
What's, like, the protocol when somebody does, like, grab the tail or try to, like, physically, like, push you over?
Figure it out. Usually, you've got a handler.
Oh, someone that's following you around.
Yeah,
Just like
basically, there's security for Buster.
Okay.
If you do something wrong and Buster can't handle it himself, you don't want to end up being the person who.
I was just say you don't want to be that like TikTok of like Goofy chasing a child around Disneyland
Yeah,
Like-
no.
because he got hit or something.
Yeah, no, you can't. You got to be careful.
There's a video of Goofy chasing a child around.
Yeah, or maybe it was like Pluto. Like the kid, like I think same thing, pulled his tail and he was like chasing him around like downtown Main Street or whatever at Disneyland, like yelling at him.
It'd be funny to see Buster Bronco doing that. Just
just
running
like-
after a kid,
Oh, I chase people all the time.
like a 5-year-old kid. Like
Oh yeah, like
I'd be terrified.
it's tons of fun. Like obviously it's like playful gesture.
Yeah.
But, like I'm the oldest of 3 other siblings. So, like, I kind of had the older brother mentality when I was doing those things. So I kind of learned that pretty well.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. You meet a lot of really cool people and do a lot of cool things. Like, I'd say, so, like, favorite thing became basketball. My, like, coolest experience of an event, aside from March Madness, which was pretty unique, was when I got to hang out with the Secret Service. When they brought the Beast to town and took pictures of the Beast on the Blue. The Beast is the motorcade that holds the president.
Oh.
So when the president came to town, they brought the motorcade, and they wanted pictures on the Blue because the motorcade only comes to Boise only every so often.
Yeah.
And my coach was like, hey, like, can you do an event with the president? And I was like, yeah, President University, like, whatever, Marlene Trump. Like, I know her. We hang out all the time. It's great. And I get there, and there's security and police officers everywhere. And I was like, yeah, like, when's this starting? They're like, oh, we're waiting for the president to show up. And I was like, yeah, okay. They're like, yeah, they're just making sure, like, security's all good and stuff. And I was like, what?
You're like, you want me to text her? Like,
Yeah, I'll just.
I'm like, what do you mean security? Like, oh, yeah, like, you know, like, Air Force One got in earlier today. And I'm sitting here, and I went,
Oh, that president.
oh.
That's pretty.
You're
sick.
talking about the president of the United States. But, yeah, didn't meet the president of the United States for security reasons. But got to hang out with the motorcade.
Did the president come to the Blue though?
No.
I thought he stayed
so
at the
you make it
airport.
there?
Yeah, he did not come to the Blue for, obviously, safety reasons. But
I don't even remember that. It was Biden, yeah?
Yeah,
was-
he was
it
doing
was-
like
it
some
was
with like
past
the
year.
fire. It was like a fire. It was when all the fires were going on. So they're having like
okay.
a fire safety meeting or something like that, or a
Remember
plan.
there
Yeah.
were a bunch of riots when he was.
Isn't
coming
like
to
what,
town.
August
not
or-
riots, just
Yeah, it
protest.
was.
protests. Yeah.
Yeah,
August or September, wasn't it?
I can find it in a minute here, but
Did you get to sit in the motorcade?
can neither confirm nor deny.
I don't even know what the motorcade is.
It's
Is
the
that
car
like
that drives the president.
It's the bulletproof big boy
yeah.
vehicles.
I'm thinking like the Pope car with the fucking glass box on the top.
No, this
That'd
thing's
be so
anything but
funny.
glass.
Yeah, after
Yeah.
JFK, there's no more. They can't stick their head out this.
Yeah.
Right. Let me see. I don't know if I'll have it anymore. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So there's, if it'll load. So big giant Cadillacs,
Okay, that's pretty sweet.
and like the doors on. You can't take pictures, but like
That's
you know,
sick. Yeah.
that's me.
Dang.
But these. We're gonna get in legal trouble. Doors are like thick, bulletproof, bomb-proof.
Yeah.
Like these things
Fully
are nuts.
tinted windows. Yeah.
So when Secret Service pulls up, are they telling you like you can't repeat what you like this that you heard? You can't do this.
They don't
this?
tell you anything.
Okay.
They can't tell anybody. It's a safety thing.
They just like say this is the car. You can take pictures with it. I guess.
From the outside, yeah. Nothing of the
Yeah.
inside.
Okay.
It's a safety thing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I got some guns in there.
Yeah, so that was my favorite thing. Like that was my maybe not my favorite, my most unique experience.
Yeah.
And so that was one of those things where I was like, yeah, maybe won't tell my grandkids about it. But like,
Yeah.
it's a cool memory to
Were you
have.
able to like?
definitely
I know obviously you can talk to him, but did you like see him?
Oh yeah, no, so I didn't see the president at all. He wasn't there. I had conversations with this. That's where I was talking in the costume. I was talking with Secret Service all the time.
Yeah.
Spent like the last half hour just talking with them. I was wearing the costume still, but they were
That'd be funny because you
Yeah.
guys are like in the same vibe. Like they can't talk, you can't talk. So then the one time everyone can talk, you guys do it.
We were just socializing. It was cool. But so yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably my hands down favorite thing.
Yeah.
That is super neat.
How many different like shirts and apparel does Buster have?
So basically everything you see at games is what Buster's got.
One of every jersey.
Pretty much, you got all the different colors:
Yeah.
And a mask now.
black, white, orange, blue. I think are the main colors we have now.
Wasn't there like a different head? Or like they're like two. Or I don't know what I'm thinking of, but like there's like a different.
Well, there was an
costume
old
they
version
added.
of Buster.
Yeah.
Buster gets upgraded every now and then,
Yeah.
but there's still only one.
Can you say how old that costume is, or like when was the last rendition? Or
Don't
do you
know if I can.
Do you know?
I'm not gonna say anything about that,
Okay.
so I don't get in trouble.
Well, I'm curious too. Like, why is everything about Buster like such a secret? Like, I get wanting mystique and keep the character and the brand
Mhm.
intact, but it seems like your Secret Service almost. You know what I mean? Like It seems like
Yeah.
it's really hard to talk about anything about it.
Think about it this way: like if you knew all the inner workings and you knew who was wearing the costume, it takes away from the actual character.
Right.
Like if you saw Buster and you knew it was me, like yeah, you see Buster, but you're like,
What's up, Chandler?
Yeah, you're like, oh, dope. Like that looks cool. Like that's probably a cool experience.
Yeah. If I was drunk, I'd just be yelling, "Yo, what up, Chandler?"
Yeah, I've had that. Oh my god, the people who figured out it was me, yeah, at games I'd hear
Like
my name.
who's Chandler? Like all the other little kids are like,
Yeah.
that's Buster.
Yeah, they're like, what are you talking about?
Have you ever had somebody find out it's you that you like don't know them at all?
No.
Okay.
If you didn't know me, and you didn't know me through certain things, you had no idea it was me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept it. I didn't share anything about it. Like I gave illusions, but I was always the photographer. That was what people knew me as.
I was gonna say that's what I was about to say. Is you were always a photographer, Buster's pictures on the, like the Boise State Instagram.
Yep. So I always took the pictures. So again, I was not always wearing the costume. I couldn't do it all. Right. So when I wasn't, I was the one holding the camera, taking solid pictures of Buster and Spirit Squad and stuff. I was taking those pictures, which is kind of my cover.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So are you not really featured on the Instagram as much, like Buster's Instagram? Like most of the pictures are of someone else in the costume.
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
But those pictures are fire because he's an amazing photographer.
Thank you.
But so when you like, obviously you can tell your family and stuff you're Buster, right? But how many of like your close friends in your inner circle are you like? Does the school tell you like you can only tell this amount of people, or is it?
Or how many people did you tell?
So well, how do I want to answer this?
Like off the like just off the bat.
Off the bat, I really didn't tell anyone. I was really good about keeping it a secret from the get go. But a lot of my friends actually came from the team, so the cheer and dance team, which was hilarious. Everyone's like, "Why are you friends with all these pretty girls?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just a photographer."
Working my way.
So, but that was kind of where a lot of my friends were. The student section, what probably hands down one of my funniest experiences ever was my first football game, my sophomore year. I was bouncing between the student section and the field because that's kind of how they kept us off the field and kept us out of the way. My mannerism, which was very popular, I would paint my biceps and paint my arms and all sorts of, bleed blue, orange, all that great stuff. And in one game, people saw me on the sidelines in the stands flexing and pounding my chest, which was kind of like my go-to rally. And then people saw Buster. At one point, we had switched in a game. They saw Buster on the push-up board with a flexed arm pounding his chest. And I watched the front 3 rows of the student section all of a sudden just paused and went, wait a damn minute. Like, that's not that we know who that is.
Yeah.
So a good amount of the student section found out, which was fun because I got to do more stuff with them.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I kept that a pretty good secret.
Yeah.
As I kind of got to the end of my career, I kind of told a couple people here and there.
So was it mostly just people who, like, they're obviously going to know, like, people on the dance team and stuff like that? Like, would you just tell, like, your buddy who happens to...
Sometimes I wouldn't. I'd keep it pretty quiet from the get-go, and I'd wait till a game. And at a game, do something fun. I'd go get a giant bag of popcorn and, like, soak them in popcorn or... pull somebody on the basketball court or on the field or something and do something with them. And they're like, what the hell? And then at the end of it all, I'd be like, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, it's me in here, by the way.
That's funny.
So, like, it was a well-kept secret. And that's kind of the thing is, like, the secret's on purpose so that you can protect the character. And that's why I didn't want to do the podcast before, was because I wanted to basically get that, maybe it was a little selfish, I wanted to get that gratification of when I graduated of giving my secret up.
Yeah.
So.
Hell yeah.
Pretty cool.
Best post I've had on Instagram in a long time.
Yeah.
So
I figured. Well, then the university reposted it, and everyone reposted it.
Yeah, it's probably one of my best posts I've put out. A lot of saves and shares and shit. It was pretty
Good
cool.
for you, man.
It's all good. after 3 years of not hitting my moment.
Yeah.
Did a lot of people reach out to you after you made that post?
I've had a couple people, did you do this game? I have this picture. I actually had one fan from the San Diego State game, and she's been fucking awesome. And it's kind of like, it's weird that, like, you don't realize how much people love Buster until afterwards. She saw my post, DM'd me on Instagram, was like, were you the one at this game? And I was like, yeah, it was me. She's like, oh my God, like, first Boise State game I've ever been to, like, the only one I probably will ever get to go to because of all these other things. She's like, but I love Boise State. She's like, if I took a picture with you at the game, she's like, can I mail you it for you to sign and mail back to me? And I was like, yeah, like, that's sick.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
She want you to sign it as Buster? Or
Yeah,
like
so I signed
your
it as
name?
Buster. So
Okay.
I signed it as Buster because obviously she knows who I am, but, met me as Buster, knows me as Buster.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Do you guys have, like, Buster signature practice or whatever, so it's all the same? Or, like, does he sign things often or not?
you know how to do it. You don't sign a whole lot of things. I liked signing things towards the end of it because I realized how many people, like a lot of the kids and stuff, love that.
Yeah. It's like Disneyland.
Yeah, you feel like a celebrity for a little bit.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, like, what's the fan connection like as Buster?
Buster's everybody's best friend. Like, when you see Buster at a game, like, Buster's always dabbing you up. Buster's always, he's the biggest hype man.
Yeah.
Always.
And that's why, like, I try to get people to, like, know about Buster. Like, and that's why as much, I don't know how much people paid attention. Maybe it was my own gig. But my senior year for basketball season, I went and bought pairs of Dunks and Jordans and stuff.
That's why I knew it was you, because you would wear the Dunks.
Yep. So that was my giveaway my senior year. That's where I kind of said I'm gonna let people know a little bit if they're paying attention. That was kind of I kind of want to have that moment.
But I like that, though. I think that should be something that continues on, because Buster wearing
it's
heat
going to
on his feet
continue.
was pretty fire.
It's going to continue. Whether it's my bank account or somebody else's, I will make sure it's fucking taken care of.
Yeah, the dunks were fire.
Dunks, Jordans, like, because Benny the Bull does that. Benny the Bull's Chicago Bulls mascot. He's like,
Oh, you got to wear Chicago's.
he's got like 3 million followers on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Now, did you run the
That's
Buster
ridiculous.
account, or were there people to take care of that? Obviously, you're a social media guy, so I figured maybe you have like some
I think
input
it's
on it.
So I help with it.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, if you weren't a social media person, obviously you'd probably just be the face, right?
I never would have touched it.
Yeah.
Instagram's a nightmare. If from a marketing standpoint, at least.
What's the followers on the Buster account? Do you know?
I can pull it up.
It's like what, 15K, something like that.
No, not that high, not that.
Really?
High, no way.
What is that? Spirit Squad that has that many?
Yeah, Buster's got 3.7K.
Okay, so nowhere close to the Bull. One day though.
Working on it, Ryland. Working on
No,
it.
one day. I know.
Progress. Dude.
Working on it.
I wonder what it was before you started.
It wasn't much lower. It was like 2.8.
Okay.
So, I mean, granted, the social media has grown over time.
Yeah.
I took care of some posts, but the problem is like it's hard to share stuff when you're doing it all the time, and you're also a photographer and you also work,
Yeah.
School.
Plus,
Yeah,
it's
can't
a
forget about
secret
school.
too.
right? So it's hard, like, you know, it's hard to like share pictures because like obviously I want to post stuff of the team, and like I also want to post stuff of me, and like that's kind of where the team aspect comes into play. I want to take pictures of everybody else, like it works, but it's hard to like post about Buster all the time, like, you know, like I can't post on Monday like some motivation Monday stuff. Like,
Right.
get through school. Because that's not what Buster's known for.
you.
Yeah. Like maybe one day that'll be the brand of Buster, but I always saw Buster as like your best friend, the athlete, like the guy who you want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, could people book Buster for like birthday parties?
That's what we're working on creating.
Because, like, I think Buster making an appearance at like a fraternity tailgate would be insane.
Oh, we definitely would have invested in that probably.
So that's the thing. Buster can't be. Obviously, the rules probably won't change, but now that the campus has alcohol in the stadiums, but Buster cannot be in pictures with alcohol.
Really?
So that's it's a brand thing. It's protection of the brand
I was
integrity.
gonna say at graduation when I was waiting in line for my little like name card and stuff, somebody took a picture of whoever Buster was with like drinking their beer, or pretending to drink their beer.
Yeah,
Did they get in trouble? Do you even know about that?
I didn't hear about it, but I probably didn't get posted on purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and we do our best. There's phones everywhere nowadays.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to change, though, because the stadium now
I don't
allows it?
think so.
Oh, okay.
Really?
I don't think
It's going to
so.
have to be more picky.
But like,
about
there's gonna be
pictures.
drunk dads or whatever trying to like.
That's what the handler's for.
Uh,
So all I ask is if you take pictures with Buster, make it easy on them. They're
Yeah.
there to have fun.
Did your handler ever have to body anybody or kick somebody out?
I usually bodied them myself.
Oh really?
in the horse
Give
costume.
him like an aggressive chest bump.
Yeah,
Like,
usually you push people away. There were times where I'd hit bottles out of people's hands. I didn't care. It's a $7 beer.
Yeah.
Get over it.
I'm saying you're a mascot. Like, what are they gonna do? Hit you?
Exactly. Hit me, please.
Yeah.
Security's coming.
Especially when like you're an adult and it's like if you're that immature where you're pushing around the mascot,
Yeah.
like
Grow up.
Someone your
Yeah.
child looks up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so that's why like, but Buster would get involved in the student section, going in the
Right.
stands. Like, that's why I always tell people like, go to the games. Like, especially when basketball was doing as good as they were. Like, it was fun.
Yeah, those
Even
basketball
as a
games were fun.
fan, like it was fun. Football's fun. What I try to tell people is stay past halftime.
yeah.
Well,
That's the hard part.
Like,
That's
oh,
Especially
we're
the student
sober. I'm
section.
like, it's more fun if you just come cheer. Like,
yeah.
and maybe have a unique view, but like ultimately, like like for me, I'm an adrenaline person.
Yeah.
Being in the stands, yelling, like even if you're talking shit, like obviously use good judgment. We're all adults. Yeah, we can swear. I get it, but like
Right.
from the university standpoint, I have to tell people like be mature about it. There's no
Yeah.
need to yell fuck CSU.
Yeah, but for obviously, like what you can say,
Mhm.
what were some of like kind of the hardships of being Buster, and
Yeah.
also what do you think the school could improve on for Buster?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be gentle about that second part, but the hardships of Buster's a selfless and thankless role. People don't realize the work we put into it. The hours at practice, the hours in suit. I mean, when I'm telling you, like, I'm an athlete now. Sure, whatever. I'll give myself that credit.
You wore a jersey.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Were
Jersey
you able to
chasers.
keep any of those jerseys, by the way?
I did get a basketball jersey. That'll when I get old and gray, I'll put in the man cave or whatever.
Yeah.
But I did get a jersey that I'll hang up and kind of keep for my memories. But the hardest part was that nobody knows who you are, and you work so damn hard and you put all this effort into it, and people don't realize that.
Yeah. Never get a thank you or anything.
That's really the
Yeah.
biggest thing. Like some
Yeah.
people will thank Buster, but the thing is you're Buster. They don't say thank you in your name.
Yeah.
Which, like, you can kind of draw the two. You can make the conclusion between them. But, like, you go home, you go from being a celebrity, and you walk out of the game and, like, you know, go get changed. You're back in your normal clothes, and nobody knows who you are. You walk past people you were taking pictures with, you know. The amount of times after games I would stay to take pictures with people, even though my coach is like, we got to go, we got places to be. And I'm like, there are these little kids who will probably not go to a game ever again. There are families here at these games that have saved for weeks to go to a basketball game. Like, and that was because of my upbringing and the certain things that I went through growing up. I saw that piece, and people were crying when they got a chance to take pictures with me. I mean, like,
Really?
and it's just one of like, that's the thing about that is, like, while it's thankless, it is arguably the most, like, wholesome and giving thing
It's
ever.
rewarding, even though you're not getting the recognition. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you can draw that conclusion and that connection, then it's awesome. But it's definitely, there's a piece where it's like you don't get thanked for what you do. I mean, like, people don't realize how hard it is to not be able to see much. Like, your visibility is pretty limited for the most part.
I'd imagine. Yeah.
And you don't have this ability to communicate if something's wrong. Like, the amount of times where, like, something fell in front of my eyes underneath the costume and I couldn't see, and I was literally blind at a football game, running blind, literally.
You can't do anything about it.
No,
right?
you can't put your hands in where, like, you can't give away that you're the character. So you have to have somebody help you, and you got to hide somewhere and get it fixed, and, like, you have to hide the integrity of this. I mean, like, the amount of chains I change in random bathrooms and closets and the back of my truck and all these things to protect that character. Like, people don't realize the things you have to think about and what you have to go through to make sure you protect that. So it's awesome. I love it, though. I've got no complaints. I think the university, politely, needs to recognize what that program does. You get full ride athletes. Sure, they're bringing in money. They're bringing fans. Congrats. I'm proud of them. Thank you. But when they're at every football game, every basketball game, every volleyball game, soccer, every recruiting event, Bronco Day, some random donation to the university, like, all these things that they're at practices year round. Then they go compete at nationals. They're doing, 7 practices a week, sometimes 14 a week. Like, nobody shows. Right. You go to the games, and it's like, oh, like, they're part of it. And we're very proud of the work we put in, because without it, you wouldn't have the same, sideline inexperience for students with the game. But it's very unrecognized. And I will say Jeremiah Dickey's done a phenomenal job of changing that. Before him, we didn't really get that recognition. I'm not going to call anybody out. But I think the university needs to realize that is a program that gives and gives and gives and gives and gives.
Definitely.
And
what do you think they can do to prove that they realize that? Or
I don't think there's a way that program needs to prove it. That program shows up. That program, they're at every game. You go to every game, there's always the cheerleaders there. There's always the dancers there.
Yeah.
Buster's always there.
Well, what can the school do to...
They fundraise for themselves.
Okay.
Believe it or not, that program is self-funded.
The whole Buster program?
Buster, cheer, and dance all fundraises for themselves.
Oh, for real? Damn.
A lot of them have to raise their own money, too, write their own checks. So you pay your tuition of whatever, out-of-state, we'll just use out-of-state numbers, $26,000, I think is what we're at now. Plus another couple $1,000s to just be on the team. To be on a college team, you're paying to be there.
Damn.
I get it. Club sports, you do that, you pay. But when the university is using you as their resource.
I say that's not a club sport.
Right?
They're selling your face on merch daily.
Right? So it's one of those things where, and granted, Busters didn't have to fundraise as much as we were at events, but it was one of those things where I see other schools give their mascots full scholarships. I see them give some cheerleaders full scholarships. So, it has nothing to do with the program.
Shit.
The program gives it out.
Yeah.
Kelsey's the head coach. Kelsey does a phenomenal job of taking care of the athletes. She really looks after everybody. She goes above and beyond. But the university, I think, needs to realize that we don't belong at the bottom of the totem pole.
Definitely. No, I thought, like, in my mind, Buster would have been pretty high up there, like, almost like calling shots and shit.
Yeah.
Just like,
like Arlene Trump status, like.
Yeah. All the props you see we use, we make ourselves. All the things we do, we fund ourselves. It comes out of, our pockets. Sierra Sanderson was an engineer, brilliant, love her. She spent a lot of time making all of our props that we use. The big light-up phone she made in her garage. She used her 3D printer, used her engineering skills, made that prop for us.
I want a 3D printer.
Right? So everything that you saw we used, the big giant binoculars.
Those are funny.
All the props you saw we used, we made ourselves, which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Even the hot dog gun?
The hot dog gun they provided was sponsored by Double R Ranch, but that thing never worked anyways.
I was gonna say, what is it like in front of all the fans, and then it just is like a dud?
Oh, dude, that was my
It's so
favorite.
sad.
That was my favorite. That was athlete me going, hell yeah, I'm throwing these shirts now.
Yeah.
Like, let me load these up and throw them to the top level. And I mean,
I would say you were
selfishly,
cranking some of them.
I'd wind up and throw them as far as I could. It was
Yeah.
so it's
Just missed the whole corral though.
oh
You
well.
gotta- you serve 'em well.
Sometimes I was told not to throw to the student section because you're trying to get to other fans. That's why they had t-shirt tosses for the student section and whatnot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So there's rules we have to follow. Some people are like, Buster, where the fuck's my shirt? I'm like, it's
Second
not my
deck.
choice.
Yeah.
Like it's not my choice. It's not my shot to call. But so Buster's underfunded
Yeah.
by the university, and I think that what I want to do coming back into it is get fraternities involved, get sororities involved, get clubs involved, have
Right.
Buster be a part of these things again
Yeah.
post-COVID in a way that the university has never done before. And have, obviously they're paying for him to be there. It's an attraction, it's a benefit, it's a resource to have. But they'll do it in a way that there's a brand around it.
Yeah.
I want Buster to be able to roam campus 3-4 days a week.
Yeah.
Walking to and from class, you're like, oh shit! Like, give him a high five. He's in a helmet
Right.
cart.
or
take
even
pictures.
if he had a backpack, just walking through the quad like he was going to class, but he wasn't really going to, just
handing
feeling
out
like another
game
student.
tickets, like handing out free T-shirts. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I give you a free T-shirt and I'm like, come to a game, like there's no way in hell you don't show up.
Yeah.
I'm coming. Get another
So
free
I think
t-shirt.
there's a resource there that the university will soon recognize can be used, and that's kind of one of my plans post graduation is to help that piece.
Yeah.
Future president of the university right here.
No, God no.
But kind of going back to like get more involved with like Greek life and clubs and organizations and stuff. Like as of right now, would we be allowed to like? Is there a way to reach out and be like, hey, we're doing our philanthropy week in the quad where we're doing Agatique or whatever? Could we have Buster come hang out?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you use, and I'm working on creating the Busters page, but if you go to the Bronco Spirit page, which is the Spirit Squad, you can reach out to them and they'll go ahead and they'll talk about, this is how you request it. You fill out a little form. They'll give you the rates of what it costs to have Buster certain things. But you can also always DM Buster on Instagram. That's an easy way to do it. Like obviously certain things we have to get approval for. If there's certain groups involved or whatever it is, we have to cover our ends and our image.
Right.
But like what we tell people is like, if you want to be involved in something and you want Buster there, like ask.
Yeah.
DM the university, DM Buster, DM Spirit Squad. Somebody will respond to you. So definitely have him out. But then also like post about it. Like it's got a couple thousand followers. Like
Scratch his back, you scratch yours.
exactly. Like he's gonna go bring people to your event. Like people will show up to meet Buster. Cool.
Yeah.
Like obviously your event is the main focus, but like I mean if you're trying to like egg a teak, like cool, give Buster an egg. Like have people like line up and like pay to have Buster like throw an egg at somebody. Like,
Well, I was gonna say too,
sign the
like,
waivers,
when we're
but-
handing out flyers for upcoming events and stuff. Obviously, a lot of people kind of just look at you and keep walking. But I bet that Buster's handing out,
they'll at least take the flyer.
Yeah, they'll at least grab it.
Yeah. So again, it just has to be like university. It's got to be appropriate. It's got to make sense.
Right.
Again, the whole alcohol thing's a big thing, especially between like Greek life and Buster. That's like the big like.
It's a whole nother
I don't
topic.
think Buster should be showing up at a house party
With doing a cake stand,
No, probably not.
That would be quite the picture, though.
Yeah, right. There you go in Barstool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of I think the big thing the university needs to do is recognize what's done in that program.
Yeah.
I just realized Barstool is like the X-rated Buster account, essentially. It's like secretive, like no one knows who it is,
Buster
but
After Dark.
yeah, exactly,
Right,
Buster
yeah.
After Dark.
You know how many DMs I'd get when Buster would get posted on that page? It's atrocious.
Did Buster ever get like doing what though? Like what did he
Somebody,
do?
all right, this pissed me off. When somebody pretended to be Buster on Tinder and used the pickup line of like, no one asked how is Buster.
Yeah,
Buster's horny. I was like, I had like 40-something people DM me.
I think
Was this you? I'm like, I don't fucking have Tinder. Like, no.
I think I said that to you. I was like, damn, bro.
Yeah. So
Did anyone from the school did they ever like say anything about you?
university doesn't recognize that.
Okay.
University doesn't recognize Barstool for obvious reasons.
Oh yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
They have to
That-
say
that
not
one makes more
affiliated in the
sense.
bio. So
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where it's like, as long as we aren't doing something, as long as we're not wearing a costume downtown, then
right.
But again, as I'm retired from it, like, I know the rules, and obviously I still protect the program.
Yeah.
It's still something to remain integral. When you graduate from a fraternity, you're not going to go talking bad about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Does the school give you like an opportunity to like give feedback, or do they ask for feedback when you're done about what they can improve on or how your experience was as Buster?
Not really.
Is that just because the school doesn't run it? Or just like
It's not school run. It's a team. It's run by the head coach.
Right.
And she's so busy. She's the head coach of cheer and dance and the mascot. And those are 3 very busy topics.
Yeah.
She's very underappreciated for the amount of work she puts in. I'm very thankful for the impact she had on me. But there's really it wasn't like here's a questionnaire. What's your take?
Yeah.
Yeah, Google
But
form.
I had, there's people who reach out, hey, can we share about you, revealing who you are? Can we share about your experience? Those kinds of things. And like, obviously, like, I'm very grateful. I've got no negative things to say.
Yeah.
Did you make the news? I feel like that'd be like a headline around here.
Yeah,
Buster
I mean,
Bronco comes out as
I didn't
Shining.
make the news as who I am. I was on the news, of course, all the time as Buster.
Yeah.
I was on ESPN, I think, once, and I was on the Mountain West Conference page. I was on the news, though, as myself my freshman year. So that was my claim to fame. When I had Bleed Blue written on my arms the first time, it was like second month of college, and I'm like calling my dad. I'm like, dude, I'm on the front page if you Google Boise, Idaho. He's like, what the fuck did you do?
getting rowdy.
Does any company ever reach out to like your Instagram or the school and say, hey, can we feature Buster in our ad for this?
Sometimes, yes. We've done some marketing work, and that's kind of where Buster, like, I want to get Buster to be hired more to do stuff. Come hang out, come be a part of the company again. Kind of like the NIL deal you're seeing with athletes.
Yeah.
I kind of want to treat it the same way. And that kind of, again, brings in funds, allows you to sponsor the program, sponsor the athletes, get props, all that
So
stuff.
if you get Buster in like a Subaru of Boise ad on TV, like he's getting a new car, like boom, there you go.
Exactly.
Like, or
and,
Lithia
and they'll
Ford or
pay and they'll
whatever.
pay for it. Lithia
Yeah.
Ford's one of our big sponsors. Lithia Ford matches donations every year for us. I think like up to 10 grand. So on Bronco Giving Day, like they will match the first 10 grand of donations.
Wow.
Boom.
So usually it's an extra 10K check from them, which is, we have some really awesome sponsors and supporters.
That's
And
all
again,
for the Buster program, or for
That's
the
for Spirit
whole-
Squad.
Oh, okay,
So that's
yeah.
usually what helps fund nationals for the team when they travel to compete at the national level. And they go to separate competitions and stuff. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Is there a mascot nationals?
there is. I never went, and that's probably my biggest regret.
Where is
love
it
it.
at? Because I know.
There's some in Anaheim. There's some in Daytona. There's some in. I mean,
Okay.
they're all over.
So same spot as the cheer and spirit.
Correct. We would go with, I believe. I believe we would have gone to Daytona, but don't quote me. I might be wrong. But there are nationals all different parts of the country for different
That's
cool.
types of competitions.
How does that work? Do you have to like qualify, or do you just kind of throw your name in the hat? How does that work?
Mascot pageant.
Yeah, pretty much. You audition, you show off your skills. It's kind of like you got to show that you can entertain a crowd and rally people together. And
Yeah.
Push-up contest.
yeah, pretty much. Basically, it's like how much school spirit do you have, and how many people can support you doing that, and how cool are your stunts. And so that's kind of how nationals
Oh,
goes
okay,
about.
so you got like the guys like the Cougar at BYU.
Yeah, you get the
doing,
BYU
like,
Cougar, the Oregon
backhand
Ducks, you
springs.
get the Ohio State Buckeye,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
What's your best stunt? What's your signature Buster like stunt or move?
I was just the jock. Like the push-ups was me. Like the push-ups and like the ladies' man. I've been single through college, so like I'm like, yeah, I think she's cute.
Say, how many girlfriends do you think Buster has with you in the costume?
Girlfriends, none. Buster doesn't do girlfriends. Buster just has love stories. So,
Side pieces.
which is fun. Like obviously, you got to be responsible and respectful. Like that's the utmost thing that I told my team was like, it's kind of a privilege to be able to walk up to any person you want and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna take you.
Yeah.
And there's, I think one of my favorite stunts was like going up to like a couple at a basketball game and like tapping the way from, be like, come here, like let me show you something. He'd get up and I'd be like, okay, cool, bye. Push him away, sit down next to his girlfriend. Like again, you got to respect people. You got to still be
Yeah.
understanding of that. So that's like the
Gotta choose
very
your people wisely. Like
Right.
if you see someone who looks like they might not take it well, and you'd be like,
So that's like a pretty
I'll leave 'em
comical
alone.
like.
yeah. You got to follow Title IX rules.
That's cool.
Don't do something you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up in jail. You're still a human being on that costume. Don't forget about it.
Yeah.
Are there any jobs that saying like, oh, I was Buster Bronco on a resume, like, it really helps? I mean, I'm sure like there's obviously like, oh, you obviously have these skills or these traits or this type of personality, but like, for example, like since you were Buster, would you potentially be like one step ahead of getting like being the bull for the Chicago Bulls versus somebody else?
Yeah,
or-
if you go into a mascot role, like you can show like I was an athlete, a mascot at this school, and like whatever you did, it's kind of like any previous experience role.
Shows you're involved too.
Exactly, and that's kind of like with what I do for work, I don't really make resumes. I really just kind of like sell myself, and I do it on my own. But if I were to put it on a resume and I were to try to apply to a job, it'd be mostly with leadership, and like team organization and those kinds of things.
High pressure moments.
Yep, high pressure, public awareness, public speaking. Even though you don't talk,
yeah,
Public acting.
presence.
You're in front of
Yeah.
36,000 people in a
Right.
football stadium.
Yeah.
You can't shit the bed.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, if you do, like, that looks bad. And you can't practice it either. Like, it's not
Yeah.
like, okay, let's pretend like there's 36,000 people here. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's like, all right, cool, the song's playing, like, and here's the run out. Like, don't trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Don't miss your cue.
Hopefully
Yeah.
nothing goes in front of your eyes.
Yeah,
You'll get
exactly.
blinded.
Yeah.
So, like, in terms of for, like, jobs, you know, you can obviously network and do those things, share what you do. You know, having an outgoing personality is a big thing, and I think that a lot of people nowadays need to have that type of skill set, is that you can be outgoing and
Yeah.
up for whatever. And that's kind of what I would really apply it towards if I were.
Yeah. How does being Buster affect like your social life? Like, do you really have a weekend where you can go and just hang out?
Oh yeah, no, you definitely still have a social life. That's not taken away from you at all. If anything, it gives you more of an ability. You know,
Yeah.
you have the team, which is super close knit. I traveled to California a couple times. I went to Utah. Where else did I go? I went to Colorado, but that's where I'm from, so I didn't really count as traveling. I went to March Madness. Went to Vegas. I went to Vegas like 4 times, 5 times over the course of a couple of years, and I didn't pay a penny. Like, obviously, I paid for
Pretty
the things I
sick,
want to
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But, like,
Yeah.
they pay for your room. They pay for your food. They take care of you.
Now,
You know?
per Jenna, who we had on in like one of our first episodes,
Yes.
the Spirit Squad doesn't fly with the football team. Does Buster get that privilege?
No, so you don't fly with football. Well, we haven't flown with football because of COVID, since COVID,
Okay.
because of safety concerns.
Sure.
We did fly with basketball to March Madness because that was paid for by the NCAA. That's
Okay.
why we flew with them. But again, it's still a level of respect. You know, they're the reasons you're there. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we try to tell people, like, hey, you know, if you're traveling with the team, understand that there's a level of respect you have to display. Like,
You're not the star.
exactly. You didn't earn this. Like, you did, but you're not the reason that you're on
Yeah.
the plane.
Right.
Yeah.
The plane is for somebody else. You just get to be a part of helping make that happen.
Yeah.
So you really got to kind of humble yourself and know your role and know your position. But I would definitely say we didn't travel with football all that often. We did pre-COVID because that wasn't a thing. You didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But again, limited travel numbers. You take like 9 or 10 people at most of a 50-person team. You only take 9 or 10 people, coach included.
You're taking vans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did take vans a couple times. To Utah State we drove, and then I came back on that. That was my birthday weekend. Drove back from Utah State and went right to partying, and I was
Like a
wiped
Buster
out.
21 run.
Yeah, except I wasn't in costume. Yeah, can't
Oh,
take
that would
Buster.
have been so crazy.
Yeah, Buster goes downtown. Buster gets whatever he wants, but Buster would probably also end up in like university jail with some rubber
Yeah.
bars like Mickey Mouse.
How would you drink in that thing? Though?
Yeah, no,
Fucking-
good luck.
Just dumping it down the
Good luck. Yeah,
fabric mouth.
yeah. That's the whole
Trench it.
Buster alcohol rule. We're like, we
Just
could-
getting soaked the whole night.
Yeah, no. You want to talk about? Yeah, that thing it's hot in there.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
bet.
say I feel like it's probably nice during the winter games because you're
Oh.
a little warm, but I feel like
Snow time is awesome.
yeah, but like those first couple games when it's still 80.
I would hate being
85.
like a Arizona mascot where it's like
yeah.
Mhm.
80 degrees and yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta
no.
switch every like quarter or something.
Yeah, no. At the San Diego State game, because it was wintertime here. We went out there in like early December for the final game of the season, and it was like
75 and sunny.
75, humid, hot, sunny. I went through 2 gallons of water in the first half of the game alone.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Gallons, like
So
you're
you do
supposed to
the
drink a
whole
gallon of
thing,
water
though.
in a day.
Yeah.
I drank 2 gallons in an hour.
What do in like something like that? Are you wearing like layers underneath or like is it just like
Sports clothes.
okay?
Like-
Commando.
Yeah, I was just
God,
saying
no.
like gloves not going.
No,
Little
like
greasy.
shorts and an athletic tee. Like
Okay.
Okay.
same deal.
Yeah.
But again, just like how you perform for anything else, that's kind of prepare for the occasion.
There's no like bodysuit or anything you have to like put on or
I mean, you have the costume.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
it gets
Yeah.
washed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Going back to the secrecy thing, just out of curiosity, like let's say there was somebody who was Buster and he was kind of disgruntled with the team or the score or just
Yeah,
tired of it. And then what if it just like at a football game or something, he like stood up on the bleachers and like revealed himself, like took the helmet
you're
off.
you're done. You're out of the team, hands down, and likely the university's gonna expel you.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just
Really? Even though they don't recognize the program, really?
I mean, think of it like streaking across the field.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same context.
you're like
That's-
ruining kids' dreams.
That's what I compare it to. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're just like think about it. You have a responsibility in a job. If you show up to work one day and you're half clothed,
Right.
how are they gonna respond?
Right,
So-
yeah.
Same concept. I kind of see it as, and that's again. There's certain things you never did into again respecting and protecting the program of what you're a part of,
Right.
protecting the university. I mean, you're kind of the ambassador of what Boise State is. Obviously, you're not the one signing everything, and you're not the star athlete, but
Yeah.
But you're the face.
Exactly. People will travel to see you, so you have to kind of take the responsibility and respect with that.
Right.
You got to get some of that Buster percentage merch.
Yeah, we'll see.
Imagine
Athletes
that.
just they don't even get that. So
Yeah, NIL deals now are helping them out, but
yeah.
we're trying to get Buster that.
Yeah.
Say Buster needs an NIL deal.
Yeah, are they
Working
gonna,
on it.
Do you guys know if they're bringing back NCAA, like the video game?
I would.
Oh, could you imagine that? You'd be the mascot
That'd be
mashup.
hype. That'd be hype. If they
Yeah.
put Buster in that game, I'd be down.
Is he in the old one?
I think he is.
I think so. I'd assume so.
I think so. Yeah.
I
Pretty
think
sure.
they have all the teams in there.
You could
that
tell
have
your kids that
mascots,
you're in a video game.
right?
Yeah.
Even though it came like long before I went to college.
But like, it's pretty similar costume to back
Oh,
then.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of the things that we're like, I've had people in my family like, oh yeah, I did this in high school and college. I'm like, what? I had not a clue.
Yeah.
It's not like something you like really brag about and boast about afterwards. Like
It's a cool fun fact.
It's cool, like
Yeah.
in Boise.
Yeah.
You meet the new ones, you see the old ones.
I mean, I still feel like it'd be kind of like a fun fact to like bring up.
Icebreaker.
Like, yeah.
It works phenomenal.
You don't have to say what college. You can say D1 mascot.
I just tell people I'm a D1 athlete. Like, oh really? I'm like, yeah, I played all sports.
Yeah.
They're like,
true.
really? I'm like, yeah, I'm the only 5A D1 athlete in my school.
that played every single sport.
Yeah. I'm on
Exactly.
the field. I'm on the court. I'm everywhere.
Yeah, I'm on TV. It's great.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, what'd you do? I'm like, well, we'll save it for another time.
Yeah. So kind of just to wrap up here, I kind of just had two last questions. One, what did being Buster do for you?
Ooh. Damn, boys. So I'm gonna keep this honest. And I think that's what the purpose of the podcast is. In the period of COVID and what happened in this world, and Buster is very thankless, and all the things we go through as adults, and maybe this might touch into a topic that I don't know if you guys usually get into in this podcast, but we all struggle with our own stuff that we go on. Everybody's got emotional challenges, physical challenges, whatever you want to call it. And we all go through shit. And personally, myself, like there was a period through college where like everything felt like I was on my own. Everything was hard. Didn't know what I was gonna do. Like things are mentally challenging, and like there are days where it's like I don't want to get out of bed. Like I don't want to go do what I have to do. I want to give up. And what Buster gave to me was basically like that chance, that opportunity, that reason to keep doing what I was doing. Because ultimately, like we go through so much. We grow up. We're told to change in these 4 years and become an adult and provide for yourself. And some people don't do that, and that's fine. Good on you. Good luck. But like there's a certain requirement that you have to do in these 4 years, and there's nobody holding your hand teaching you how to do it. You got to go figure it out if you want to really become prepared when you graduate. That's how you go get a job. That's how you go do things afterwards. That's how you create something that you want to do. That's why we're here. And Buster, for myself and one of my teammates, and kind of the conversations that her and I had was like, Buster was the reason we really kept doing anything. We're like, Buster was the reason that you could always smile, forget about whatever's stressing you out, forget about anything that doesn't go your way. Like when you are Buster, everybody loves you. Everybody wants to see you. Everybody's smiling, and your job is to be happy. Like you will be having the worst day ever. And you put on that costume, and it changes.
Yeah.
And you feel
Okay.
phenomenal. And afterwards, you're like, all right, cool. You feel fine. You're
Yeah.
good. So if there's anything, Buster taught me how to just deal with it, get over
Yeah.
it, and also realize that there is a certain responsibility that you always have that people will always look for. And so that was kind of my big thing. My emotional piece was like, if it weren't for Buster, like I'm positive I would not be here anymore. Like that's how serious it is. Like that's what my college experience was stuff was hard, and people are doing crazy stuff nowadays. And I'm like, it didn't make sense. And if it weren't for Buster and the ability to get in the costume and be a part of the university and be such an impactful role, I am confident I would not be here anymore.
Yeah.
But aside from that, Buster gave me the coolest college experience I could ever possibly ask for. I asked for 4 years. I'd go get a degree and I'd graduate and go get a job. And in those 4 years, I traveled to football games. I saw the ins and outs of athletics, the ins and outs of the university. I met some really phenomenal people, have some of the best friends from the program. I've learned how mascotting really is figuring it out as you go and being the biggest clown you possibly can. And like if I look back at my college career, like not a single thing could have gone any better. Like maybe my grades.
Yeah.
But like but
Please get degrees.
yeah, exactly. But exactly, like my big thing is like, it gave me the college experience of like just go do everything you get the chance to do. Because once you graduate, you obviously you've graduated. You're going after your job. How, are you graduated? You got one more.
Yeah.
All of us graduated.
So we're all graduates. So my big thing is when I graduated, I got kicked out of the party that I was hosting. That's how I felt. It was like, this is my party, and all of a sudden they were like, okay, cool.
See ya.
Out the door
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Good luck. Go.
It's got to be tough.
So
It's like
it's-
going from 100 to 0.
Yeah, and so like it made the most of my college experience. I did as much as I could in those 4 years, and that's what I tell people is like, when you go to school, do as much as you can, because when you graduate, you don't realize all the opportunities you had that you no longer will get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason people in their 40s, 50s, 60s still reminisce about college because it's a special time, and once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, it's such a unique experience.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
You definitely sound like you got a lot of the whole experience, though, for sure.
I tried. I didn't get that
Yeah.
in high school, so when I came to college, I
Yeah.
was like, "Fuck it, no regrets."
Yeah, I was
I'm
kind
gonna
of
do
in the
everything.
same boat with that.
Yeah.
But, so my last question is: now that you're graduated, you've taken the horse head off,
Yeah,
um,
publicly.
yeah, hung up your jerseys.
Yeah.
Now that you're just fully Chandler all the time, what's next for you?
Marketing work, photo work. Building my name again. I've been doing that my all 4 years. When I was somebody on campus, people knew who I was, which was awesome. I think that's one of the things that most people go through campus and they just kind of are a shadow. They don't get involved in clubs or organizations. And you can walk through campus and nobody will say your name. And I built that name for myself. Nobody gave that to me. I came from a different state. I knew nobody. I did that on my own. Obviously with the people I knew, but whatever. But now it's, off to the races. I've got ambitious goals for work and for business, and I would love to give back to university as much as I can as I get older and I'm involved. I'd love to eventually one day be able to make enough money that program gets a full scholarship for every athlete on it. I'd love to make enough money that they get experiences to travel and that they get to go do the things that make them the best athletes, and that students get to be involved in certain clubs, and the people who aren't financially capable of, trips or whatever it is that their clubs have, like that you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Because I think that university does a phenomenal job of bringing students in. I mean, their onboarding process, I got letters in the mail and all this stuff, and like I felt wanted at that university. And then I got there and COVID happened and it was like, nah, they're still figuring it out. But my goal is go make a lot of money, go do some really cool stuff, see some really cool things with some really cool people. But when it comes down to it, and kind of my saying and what a lot of us say is like, once a Bronco, always a Bronco. So
Yeah.
I want to come back and give back.
Does I got one more before you sign off, Dave. Does Buster get free season tickets for life?
No, I will be paying for my tickets. Who knows? Maybe I'll change that. We'll figure it out. But yeah, no, it's like any athlete. You graduate,
Gone.
Yeah.
you get a letter in the mail a month later. Would you like to be a donor?
Yeah, literally, the
Like,
email the
alright,
day after we
thanks.
graduate.
Start giving us more money now.
Yeah.
Give me a year or two to make some money, then maybe I'll donate. Yeah.
They did have a fire deal for football and basketball season tickets though. $99 for both
I
sports.
saw that.
I bought that.
Just depends on where they put you.
It's general admission.
Not too shabby.
Fair enough.
I think north end zone and then
Yep. So just show up early.
Yeah.
yeah, north end zone, and then I think it's like 33 to 36 section and mezzanine.
Oh yeah, then there you go. Those are good seats. A
Yeah.
lot of fun.
There you go.
But, yeah,
And you get the BAA parking, so
right.
that's what it's worth it.
Exactly.
Parking's like $30 by itself.
Until you got to get out.
Now Ryland's like
Yeah.
an ambassador giving back to the school.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Setting up
Tied
the
him
fields.
down.
But
yeah.
yeah, just to kind of wrap things up here, Chandler, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah.
That was super cool and insightful
thank
to
you.
hear about.
Where can people find you again?
Instagram Chandler _Thornton. Find me there.
You got any media accounts to shout out?
Not yet. If you follow my page, you'll get shout outs. There's things coming here in the next couple of weeks that I'll start sharing on my page. So go follow me, check it out. And also, if you got questions about Buster, like, feel free to message me, ask questions. Obviously, certain things are secret, certain things are rules, but I think I'm all about promoting what it is, who it is. And if you're like, we want Buster at this event, DM the page, reach out, get involved. And yeah, just be creative with it. But no,
Thanks
thank
for coming
you guys.
on.
This was fun. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
me too.
much.
I might get in trouble for a couple things I said, but
Yeah.
Long anticipated.
And,
I already got the
They
degree.
kicked you out,
Yeah.
so yeah.
And then
But-
thank you to Ross too.
Yeah.
Well,
Congratulations.
We miss you, buddy.
Thanks for
Oh,
helping
thank you.
start this pod and helping us grow it to what we can.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Good luck to both you guys and what comes next.
Beautiful. Thank you,
And
boys.
until next time, you never know.